to a very good friend of mine from True Kinsman Lodge #1 out of Arizona. And it was a great conversation. I told him, I said, look, man, Doc, your conversation inspired me to talk about the principles of Freemasonry and my personal journey and where I'm at right now. And I was like, dang, man, it really made me reflect on a lot of things that I've seen in Masonry. It made me just to reflect on some good, some bad, some ugly. And I was like, dang, really, dude. She's like, yeah. So we talked in regards to individuals that know the book. I mean, they know the terminology of Freemason. They know the book inside and out. They got the Q&A down packed. They got it all lit and legit. We talked about the sisters being the same way. How adequately they can pronounce the words, and they know every station, and they got it all down. We talked about that. I was like, wow. And as our conversation went on, I was like, man, that's a very interesting point of view that you bring across. He was like, yeah, Brother Tony, I know some sisters who really got this book down packed, and I've talked to them, and they know every station, and he spit it off to me. He said, I know some brothers that know this book down packed, Brother Tony. I meet them here in Arizona. Most of them are Prince Hall, It's not that many ancient free and accepted Masons here. But I'm in Arizona. I come across, and he said, Brother Tony, they fire that book off. I was like, yeah. He said, they fire that book off, man. I was like, wow. Then he said, you know what I found, though? They don't have it in their heart. They don't understand the principles of the brotherhood. They don't understand the principles of the sisterhood. They paid no attention to the essence of Freemasonry. He said the same thing you talked about. I was like, really? I was like, come on, talk to me about that. Give me, paint me a picture. He said, well, Brother Tony, I'm a Freemason, but I can't spit it out like you sometimes spit it out. I can't spit it out like some of the brothers in the lodge spit it out, but I live the life. It's like, you live the life. He said, yeah, I live the life as a Freemason. The principles and all of that. It's in my heart. I live the life. So when a brother is in need and I can be there for him, I'm going to be there. I was like, okay. He said, see, when a brother calls me, a sister calls me, I'm all down for it. I'm not down for any of the BS. I'm serious about the works of Freemasonry. I was like, the works? He's like, yeah, the works. Being the example like you talk about. I was like, oh, okay. He's like, no, I'm talking about occasionally I can look in the book. I can't, my concentration at my age ain't what it used to be. I'm a veteran. I was experiencing some things, but the life of a Mason, the principles of a Mason, I'm good with that. I understand that. Coming from the military, that type of brotherhood, but being in Masonry expounds upon that, and I get it. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, I get it. I'm that guy. So when I was talking to him, and we was talking about the principles and in the brotherhood and all of that, I started telling him about my journey when I first came in. I mean, when I paid my $25 to become a Mason, and I still got the receipt, and I was telling him about those gentlemen that I've spoke about in my lodge before, and I don't know if there will ever be any other men's like that in my life. I don't know if I ever come across any other men like that. And he was like, what? I'm like, yeah. And I went on to explain to him. I said, look, when I came into this organization as a young man, married, couple of kids, had a decent job, really trying to be the example and live a good and wholesome life. I said I ran into some problems, be it financially, just problems, life issues. I said, those gentlemen, those men that was in my lodge showed me what Masonry was all about. And he was like, really? I was like, yeah, brother. I'm gonna tell you, the men that was in my lodge, and the reason I have never left and went to any other jurisdiction. This is the reason why. Because when I first joined this lodge, Hosea Lodge, the lodge I'm in now, the men in that lodge said, we're going to be the example. When you get up on your feet, when you become that man, when you become us at this age, you need to treat those gentlemen that's coming behind you like we treated you. You need to show them the principles and be the example. Do that. And I'm like, okay. So what I got from them is this. In my young life, in my youth, when I was in Masonry, I ran into a real crazy financial, it was off the chain, right? I had a decent job, making good money. And I fractured my wrist and I couldn't work, okay? Getting the whatever they was giving you and stuff like that, wasn't enough for what was happening in my family. So I went to a brother, and his name was Willie F. Pope. That was his name here in San Diego. If you are in San Diego and you know anything about the American Legion Post 310, you're gonna hear some names that I'm gonna call out to you, and these were my Masonic brothers at the time. My wishful master name was Benjamin F. Mitchell. He was my wishful master. He was a former member of Prince Hall, Grand Lodge of California. He was in I want to say Henry A. Willis, not Henry A. Willis. He was part of J.T. Thomas Lodge here in San Diego. It was a Prince Hall Lodge, but he was the wishful master of my lodge when I came in the late 80s. And it was him, it was brother Willie F. Pope, brother J.C., Oscar Julian, that was his name. Just the name of Willie W.E. Bowens, what was Drake? Brother Drake Jones, Albert Foster. These are just a few of the old heads when I came in. Now, mind you, I'm in my 20s, right? So I was out of work. And I had a brand new Mustang. It was a 5.0, and I had a Ford Tempo at the time. And it was so crazy. So when my money got funny, I'm serious, when my money got funny, I was like, damn, my wife's looking at me, the kids looking at me, but my money is funny. So I went to Willie F. Pope. I said, Brother Pope, man, I got a good job, but right now I'm not working. I fractured my wrist, and I'm really in a tight. Brother Pope said, what type of tight spot are you in, young man? I said, look, I'm a month behind on my rent. I got 2 car notes due. Got food, that's cool. He said, oh, okay. He said, well, how much you need? I said, I need a month's rent and 2 car notes. He said, how much do you need? So I gave him the price. I told him what it was. He said, I'll tell you what. Tomorrow, come back down here, American Legion Post 310, and I got you. That was Willie F. Pope. I said, okay. I came back the next day. Now mind you, he's an older gentleman, retired military. The principles of Freemasonry. I said, okay. So I said, I'll be back, So I came back the next day. He said, here you go. It was a C note, Here you go. Here, broke him off. Broke me off about, broke me off a grand. That paid for my rent and my 2 car notes. This is like in the early 90s, okay? Early 90s. And he said, the way I give this to you, when you get up on your feet and get yourself situated, is the way I want it back. I was like, okay, square. Okay, that's cool. So I got up on my feet. And the way that he gave it is the way I gave it back to him. Hear me clearly. The way he gave that to me, I gave it back to him. And when my kids needed a babysitter and I didn't have one, His wife watched my kids. She had a daycare. She watched my kids. I'm talking about the principles of Masonry. I ain't talking about all that other stuff. I'm talking about some real Masonry shit. Okay, this is some, when a brother's in need, when a brother is like, I need some help thing. I'm talking about that type of Masonry. I'm talking about the type of Masonry you say on the 5 points of fellowship. When you're talking about helping a sister with your purse, I'm talking about that type of Masonry. So as time went on, and I'm growing up, I'm maturing, I'm getting up on my feet. I did exactly that. Okay, so when I got ready to get my house, I told my brothers in my lodge, I said, look, I'm getting ready to get my house. You know, I'm doing some things. You know, they was like, I'm proud of you, brother. I'm proud of you. So I told them, I said, look, I got the down payment, but they telling me I'm short. The brother said, well, how short are you? I said, well, I'm about 2 or 3 short, 2 or 3 G's short. And they was like, oh, okay, we got you. I was like, oh, okay. So what they did was, they said, we're gonna get this to you. The sisters in the chapter, Sister Lauderdale Stevens, God bless her soul, she's still with me today. That's my girl, Lauderdale Stevens. And some other sisters, Patricia Fredonia, yeah, Sister Patricia Fredonia, and those brothers, they came through. They came through and said, here you go. This should be your full down payment for your house. I was like, damn. Okay, cool. Got into my house. Brother JC came to me, said, look, man, he said, you moving into your house. You know your wife gonna want some furniture, some new furniture. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna take what I got from the apartment. He said, no, your wife is going to want some new furniture, bro. I was like, dude, I don't know. He's like, no, your wife, you moving into a house, your wife want new furniture. This brother, now he old school. He went in his house on top of what we call a dresser, right? A dresser, the tall ones with the mirrors inside. You got your clothes inside. He went on top of there, man. He came out of a roll that thick. He came out with a roll, bro. He broke me off about $500. He said, look, he said, go get your wife some new furniture. Love seat, sofa, whatever you can get with this. You go get some new furniture for that house. All right. Brother Gus, never forget it. I told Brother Gus I'm moving to the house. You know, I have a washer and dryer hookup, but I don't have a washer and dryer. Brother Gus said, look, come by the house, because he had his own company. Brother Gus had his company. He was a person from the military who did refrigerator work and stuff. So he had appliances that he worked on. So he had his own appliance store. Told me to come by his house. He gave me a washer and a dryer and a refrigerator. My first washer and dryer in my refrigerator was from Brother Gus. He was a member of my church too. He said, look, come by, pick it up, boom, boom. I did that. All right? My brothers of the craft and my sisters helped me. I didn't get to where I'm at by myself. They showed me the principles of Freemason. They lived it. I'm not saying they was perfect. I'm not saying they was perfect. I'm saying, but they lived the principles of the sisterhood and brotherhood. That's real talk. That's real talk to me. I mean, there are some people who like to talk about stuff, but this is what was shown to me. And I'll never forget it. We was at Post 310. That's the hangout here in San Diego once upon a time. It's gone now. And I will go down and I'll meet all my lodge brothers after lodge meeting on the second Friday of every month. There was 2 sets of Masons down at the American Legion. There was the Prince Hall set of Masons, and there was Ancient Free and Accepted Masons. Every Friday at the American Legion, they will be down there. You know why? Because that was the center place in this community that we all went to. And you want to know something else? On the board of the Post 310s, were Masons. All of them at that time were Masons, including my wishful master, who was the commander of the post. All right, and the thing was, those old heads from both the Prince Hall and the them old heads, man, they moved totally differently than what I see now. The way they moved was different. It was different. It was none of this stuff that I see today. And as I grew, and at my first grand session, when I didn't really have a car, I had one car at the time. They said, look, young man, you're going to drive us to grand session. I had never driven to LA at the time, right? I had never driven to LA. They said, look, you're going to drive us to session. I was like, okay. Here's the keys. I drove them to session. They was like, damn, I don't know how fast you was driving, but I got to LA like in an hour and 15 minutes. I was rolling. That's almost like an hour and 45-minute drive. Bro, I was moving. And this is before they built up a lot of stuff on the freeways here. Man, I was moving, right? I get there. They helped me with my room. This is my first grand session. They helped me with my room, and they told my wife. This is what my brothers told my wife. We got him. We got him. I couldn't afford to go to grand session, spend 3 days at a session, maybe 4, but I didn't have that type of money then. Okay? But those brothers of that time, man, I had my own room. They hooked me up with my own room. Told me, look, young man, here you go. Your room is good. I didn't have no credit card. Well, I had a debit card, I had no credit card. They hooked me up. And then after they took care of that, I had a great time at session. Got to understand Masonry from understanding the rules and regulations for our jurisdiction and its bylaws. I got all of that. Tons of information. But one thing I learned as I was growing up with these young men, these men at this time, is the principles of Freemasonry. They were the example that I try to be today to those who are in my lodge, to those who I come in contact with, be it in my lodge, out of my lodge. They were that example for me. So when a brother says I'm in need and I got it, and it's not going to hurt me or put me out my way, and I'm sincere and that person is sincere, it's no problem with that. It's none. It's when you run across these so-called Masons who blow all this smoke about who's this and who. It's those guys and those women you got to just move away from, because that principle of Masonry is not in their heart. They don't understand that. They're not ready for a real Masonic or Eastern Star journey. They're not ready for it. They're completely not ready for it because of the experience of the thing. You know, you got 1 or 2 times, but if you're not in order, you're out of order. You know, so that thing that they have taught me has been instilled in me. They live with me. Those are my ancestors now. I buried those old guys. I went to their funeral and I did their funeral. Myself and my past master, Brother McCullough out of Aries Lodge number 4. We did their funeral. All the old heads, you know, to come into a lodge like that and to be able to see them was something special. Right now, in my life, I'm them now, you know. I am them. I'm those old heads now. I look back and I see the youngsters and the young brothers, whether they be of age or younger, coming into the lodge. I'm now my brothers, those old heads. I'm them now. I'm closer to retired than anything else. So I have to be able to show them the principles of Masonry. And not only that, be the example. And not only that, when showing all of that, man, you got to be a step above the rest. You can't be like everybody else, because everybody else is normal. Everybody else, there's nothing special about everybody else. If you want to be like everybody else, you can't do that. So in watching them treat me the way they treated me and Brother Austin. He was another young man I came in with. Man, that's special. I can never, man, that was my guiding light in Masonry. That was truly my guiding light, and I never left this lodge because this lodge has always been good to me. Always showed me love, showed my family love. So why would I want to leave and go anywhere else? Because the principles of Freemasonry for me is right here. You know, all of that. You know, everything that I've learned, everything that I've gotten out of Freemasonry, I've gotten it from this jurisdiction in this lodge. From all of the members who came through that was in the military. You know, I've seen my lodge have up to close to 100 members in it. And I've seen it had up to 10 members in it because this is a military city. So I've seen it grow. I've seen it ebbs and flow. I've seen. I don't know what happened to my live right then, but I'm back. But like I said, I have seen it. And in seeing that, man, why would I want to leave? When I've seen that thing that we call Masonry, when I've experienced what people call Masonry in the Order of the Eastern Star, be it through a Kim Crenshaw, an Anna Cook, be it through Sister Fuller, through Sister Annie Johnson, I mean, through all of the sisters that I've came across who set the example on how to be a star, regardless of what people may have said about them. But they were that example. Sister Jeannie Bowens, I mean, all of the principles of this thing, they led their life through. It was all of that. And when you get into a chapter or a lodge that is able to really impress that thing upon you like that, don't leave. I don't care what the Grand Lodge is doing. I don't care what the Grand Chapter is doing. What is your chapter? What is your lodge doing that's setting them apart in the cohesiveness of teaching you the principles of a thing such as the Eastern Star, such as the Masons? And when they're able to generate that and you're able to say, oh, I got this, man, when you become the Worshipful Master, the Junior Warden, Senior Warden, when you get into those stations, you're going to honor those stations because you was taught to honor the stations. You're going to know what it's like to be the Junior Warden and understand his position. Because when the lodge is closed, you're the it factor, Junior Warden. Yeah, I said it. When the lodge is closed, Junior Warden, you're the guy. You're the guy that watch over the lodge. Make sure the brothers are doing what they're supposed to do, that they do not convert their refreshments into intemperance. They should have your phone number, Junior Warden. Junior Warden, every brother in the lodge should have your number. So when they get to a place where they can't drive home, they've had too much, when they get to a place to say, look, make that phone call. You need to be able to send them an Uber or Uber. You need to be able to say, hey, look, I got you. Don't drive. Don't do this. Whatever that may be. You that guy, Junior Warden. See, my Senior Warden in my lodge, he's that guy. I said, brother, I'm going to such and such place. He said, look, I got you. You know, when I'm saying I'm going to some place, my Junior Warden said, I got you. What you need me to do for you? I said, well, I need you to make a reservation or to do something for me. He said, I got you. That's my Senior Warden. So when you got people in your lodge, when you got people in your chapter that's looking out for your best interest to make sure that you're doing the right thing, to hold you accountable, a lot of times we're not all held accountable. And sometimes we don't want to hold each other accountable. You know, I've had brothers that say, you know, what you should do. You the Worshipful Master, you should do this. And then when they get in trouble, they want you to show them some leniency. Come on now. I'm talking about the principle of a thing. Everybody in the lodge, in the chapter, should be shown some leniency. They should. But if you keep doing the thing over again, then there comes a time when you got to deal with the consequences. You know? So when we talk about the principles of Freemasonry, and when we talk about all the things, the joy of Masonry, you know, you love grand session. I enjoy a grand session. A good grand session, yeah. When you get the teachings, when you get the lectures, when everybody is like really enjoying themselves, that's a good grand session. Yeah, but there's some grand sessions, man, I've been to. I regretted going. Let's be honest. There's some grand sessions I'm quite sure that some of you have gone to that you said, man, I shouldn't even came to this. This is some bullshit. This? Did you just hear what he said? Nah. Did you just see what he did? Did you just hear what she said? Did you just see what she did in this chapter room, in this lodge room? I've had a brother to get pissed off, take his apron off, throw it on the ground. Yeah. I've seen that in grand session. Why is he angry? He didn't get his way. Why? Why he didn't get his way? Because he didn't serve in the office, but he wants to hold an office. You can't do that. You never served in the office. How you gonna run for an office? And you get mad. Oh man, I'm talking about the principle of a thing. The same thing go for a sister. I seen some sisters get upset. I don't want to be the grand secretary no more. I'm tired of that. And then when they don't vote you in, now you mad. I'ma quit. What? You said you didn't want to be the secretary no more. Come on now. And that's the thing that I feel that a lot of individuals, a lot of people who come through the doors of Freemasonry, some come just for a hot minute. You know, I'm serious. Some people join Freemasonry. They tell you everything that you want to hear, that you want to hear. They tell you everything you want to hear when they do their initial interview. When you're trying to protect the lodge and you got your questions down, I don't know, I call them basic questions. Why do you want to be a Mason? Did anybody ask you to become a Mason? What's your thoughts about Freemasonry? What's your thoughts? What do you know? Who do you know? Have you been around any Masons? Where do you live? How do you live? Where do you work? What's your background like? You know, if a police officer in your lodge and you know somebody know how to run background checks, you can get that done. You know, you can get the background check done. So they answer all of these things and they really fit the criteria. They believe in God. They got a good family, or they're single, but whatever. They fit the criteria to be a good Mason. They do. They fit the criteria. Then they get in. They pay their initiation fee, application fee, whatever you want to call it. They pay it all. Boom, boom, boom. Here you go. And they'll wait a whole year. I mean, they will wait. Literally, they go through the whole thing for a whole year. They do that. And you know what happens? When they get raised, they come to about 2 or 3 meetings, and you don't see them no more. But then when you see them, say, hey, man, what happened? I don't see you at the meetings no more. Oh, bro, you know, man. No, I don't know. It's the principles. You came, you went through the whole process. You was there for 2 years, whatever that may have been. And then after you get initiated, passed, and raised, you come to a few meetings, you get your ritual, you have your certificate, you got your membership card, that's it, and then you disappear. And when they see you, be it at the club, be it at church, be it out and about in the community, wherever you may see, you say, hey man, what happened? Oh man, you know, I got family, and yeah, we all got family, bruh. Masonry, in my lodge, we say we won't interfere with your duties to your family. We won't interfere with your duties to your job. And if you're in the military, to your country, we won't interfere with none of that. But at least you owe us an explanation. If you're in the military and they say you got a deployment for 6 months, this is Westpac. We get it. Okay? If you got a family and this is your job, we get it. But bruh, come on, every month on the same day, all the time? Come on now. Let me tell you, there's a brother in my lodge. No, he's not in my lodge. He's in Aries Lodge, which is my brotherly lodge. He's in their lodge. Brother Dean, he's a doctor. He comes to 4 or 5 meetings a year, maybe 6. That's half the meetings. He's a doctor. I get it. But at least he contacts and let everybody knows when we have our master's council degree work that, hey, I can't make it. Let me know what you need me to do, though. If there's a project, let me know. There's another doctor we got in there. He'll say the same thing. You know, he'll open up his house and say, you want to do a study session, workshop in my home? Here it is. Let me know the date. I can open it up. It's things like that. It's the principle of things like that that actually wants and draws a person into Masonry. You know, it's those sort of things. If you find a good lodge in any Masonic jurisdiction, I don't care what it is, you maintain that. You stay there as long as you possibly can. And then when things get too hectic, then yeah, I can understand you want to move. But for the most part, I'm talking about your lodge. Not your grand lodge, but your lodge. I don't care what people say. Because the true essence of the brotherhood, you don't find that a lot now. You don't find it a lot, man. I mean, some real ride or die brothers that's going to be there for you. That's, hey, man, you know, bruh, man, I'm on hard times, bro. Now, mind you, this brother, this sister has been coming to the lodge meeting, the chapter meetings for the longest. And when they hit rock bottom, you talking about you want to kick them out. That's some bullshit, man. I've seen it. Well, you know, he ain't been here in 3 months and he ain't paid no dues. Why he ain't been here in 3 months? Why he hadn't paid no dues? Oh, the brother lost his job. I get it. Oh, the brother's wife has been sick. He's been working and taking care of her. I get it. But you got lodges, and you know you got lodges out there that say, you know what? He ain't pay no dues. Well, shoot, No, but in my lodge, as long as I'm alive, we going to carry that brother. We're going to make sure that he's good. Let me tell you, I got another brother in my lodge. He ain't been to a lodge meeting in 2 years, maybe even longer. However, due to his dedication, before he got to the place to where he's at right now, that brother was at every meeting. Every time we got ready to travel and go somewhere, that brother was good to go. He didn't ask for a damn dime from nobody. Okay? But when he got to a place to where he had to change his schedule, to where he had to do some things in his life for the betterment of himself, my grandmaster called me up. He said, look, we're going to go see brother such and such. I said, cool. We got to his home. He said, look, man, you don't have to pay no more dues to nobody. No more dues. You are a lifetime member, period. That's what you are. You're a lifetime member. You ain't got to worry about paying no dues. He's the secretary. That's your position. When the minutes are done, they email the minutes to him. He verifies the minutes. He makes sure everything is in order. He sends the minutes back. Because of his dedication before he got into the position where he was at right now. That was it. Man, nah. We can't do that to a brother. But there are lodges out there that would do that to the person. You got an elderly brother. You know, when you came to the lodge, he was there all the time. And now he's of age. He's 70 now. He's 70 years old. He can't make it to every meeting. Maybe he's 65. He can't make it to the meetings now. Nobody has called to check on him. Nobody's called to check on her. Nah. Nope. See, that's some bullshit. I don't understand that. I have a sister. I ain't gonna call her name, but I have a sister, and she's older now. She gotta be close to 100. She was at my birthday last year. Year before last. She drove to my birthday. We all had a great time. Whenever I came to LA, that sister was there. She asked about me. Anybody seen Brother Tony? When I got there, she gave me the biggest hug. I mean, baby, that type. I mean, make sure he get a plate to eat. That sister, you know the one I'm talking about. Man, when she's gone through some things in her life right now. And no, why should she pay any dues? She's 95 years old. She was driving up until she was 93. Hadn't had no accidents that I know of. All right? Her husband was a member of the jurisdiction. No, she ain't paying no dues, and bet not nobody asked about her paying any dues. Now, I'm not saying she can't afford it. Maybe she can, and maybe she can't. But her dedication in the principles of the thing, of the Order of the Eastern Star, sets everything apart. I remember we was at session, in the sitting Grand Matron at the time. You know, really, the sitting Grand Matron really put the Grand Chapter into a real tough situation. She really did that. But this particular Grand Matron said, look, I got it. I'm running for office. I got it. And they put her in office. And she really held the torch. She carried the torch. Although she had other sisters around her that supported her, she told them all what she wanted to do. She said, look, I'm in the chair, but y'all gonna do the work. I ain't gonna ever forget that. She said, I'm in the chair, but y'all gonna do the work. And man, the chapter flourished. They were still chugging along, you know, because there are people that you trust in your lodge. There are people that you trust in your chapter. And you got them held in high esteem and you put them in positions. And then you turn around and you look at how they done mess the lodge or they have messed the chapter up. And you be like, well, damn, why'd you do that? Yeah, I'm in a bad spot here. But yeah, so it's those types of things that really keeps a person in their lodge, in their chapter, and keeps them going. It's that sort of thing, you know. And I can really appreciate those sisters and those brothers who have come through my life and who are still in my life, showing and guiding me even at my age. And they're older, you know. So I'm just saying, it's the principles. I don't care if you got a sister or a brother in your lodge that can spit it out, that can really just get it and they gutter with it. I don't care. It's you watch out for those who understand the principles of Freemasonry, the principles of the Order of the Eastern Star. They know the work. They don't say much unless you ask them. And then you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised at what they know. Peace and blessings, my brother. All the family in the chat. You know, for real though. That's the thing you got to look at. That's the thing I look at. You know, that's the thing I really, really enjoy. I get a kick out of it, and nobody can tell me anything different regarding it. And that's why for me, and I'm only speaking for me, I wouldn't trade my membership in this jurisdiction for anything. I wouldn't trade it for anything. For any other Grand Lodge, I wouldn't. And if you got a chapter or a lodge like that, I would do the same. Don't trade it for anything. Keep that. Hold on to that. Really. You do that for yourself. You do that for your organization, man. I'm telling you. Don't trade out because somebody's saying, hey, man, no. Hey, sis, no, don't trade that out. You keep that. You hold that. I'm telling you. And I tell you what, it's going to pay off in the end. It's really going to pay off in the end. And that's for sure. Too many times, too many people trade that off. They trade it off. I don't know why they trade it off, but that's what they do. They trade it off. No, don't do that. If you got a good chapter, a good lodge, and they're really sincere about it, that's a beautiful thing. I don't care what jurisdiction it is. If they're doing and beholding to the principles of the order and the principles of masonry, and they ain't putting you in no bad spot, they ain't always in your pocket, but they're really out to see that you grow as a person, man, that's the best lodge, that's the best chapter to be in, because all that other stuff is bullshit. Excuse my, pardon me, but it is. All that other stuff is just crazy. It's not even worth it, you know? And that's the way I feel about it. That's the principles that I see. That's how I get it, you know? And I would say this to those of you who don't believe me, look around yourself. Check your lodge out. Have you ever been in need? I mean, really in need? And you go to your lodge and you tell them your situation, and they look at you like boo-boo the fool, and you have dedicated your time, your energy? Nah, you need to leave. You need to leave and find you a better lodge, a better chapter. That's real talk. They ain't for you. That's real talk. You know. That's the thing. That's the thing. You need to find another lodge, another chapter. At least I know I would. You mean to tell me I spent my money, my time here, and have done the things I'm supposed to do, and you tripping? Nah. It's time. It's time for me to move on and do something else different. Find another lodge, another chapter. I've invested, and you can't even hold to the principles of the order. You can't hold to the principles of the craft. Nah. I don't care how much you know about the book. I don't care how much you can spit it out and turn it up and explain it. Nah. I'm talking about the principles. Those things. The principle in the principles of Freemasonry and the integrity of the Mason. You know what you said. My life you can have, my integrity never. Come on. Nah, see, that's what I stand on. And I'm not saying I'm perfect either. I never said that. I said that's what I stand on. That's what I stand on. And I believe that each one of us should look at that for what it's worth and stand on it too. That's me personally. Because if you don't do it for yourself, nobody else is going to do it for you. They're not going to do it for you. So, look, I've been on here for a little while, and I thank everybody for coming on. Greetings to everybody. If I didn't give you a shout out, I'm giving everyone who's on now a big shout out. I want to say thank you. And I just want you to sit back for a moment and just really dig down into it and look at the principles of Freemasonry and look at the principles of the Order of the Eastern Star. And really look at the chapter and lodge that if you're an active member, sit back and look at your chapter and lodge and see if they're abiding by the principles. And I get it, I understand that we're supposed to know these various things about Masonry and the Order of the Eastern Star. I get that. But I want you to just take a look and see the principles. And if your lodge or chapter is really not giving you that, then you may have to look for another home. You may have to do that. And that's perfectly okay. But I can say this for where I'm at in my lodge. I only speak for my lodge. No. Nope. Because I've had brothers who couldn't pay their Masonic membership fee for whatever the cause. And I've done it. And I'm quite sure some of you have done the same thing. Yeah, I've had brothers that come through and was a fraud. Yeah. And when I say a fraud, they came through, hey man, I need some help. And you really go out your way. The lodge really goes out of its way to make sure that brother is taken care of. They come to find out that brother was using the organization. That sister was using the organization. You know who I'm talking about. You know the one who came to the meeting and said, look, brothers, I really need some help. And come to find out 2 months later and down the road, brother, where you been? Oh man, And come to find out that, yeah, he needed some help. He likes to gamble. He likes to drink. He has those vices that he took your money and you tried to help him and he used that money toward his vices. The passion. I mean, we're going to always have it with us. We got to learn to subdue it. It's okay to have a little taste every now and then. Okay, it's okay to go, you like to gamble, you know your limit, stay with your limit. It's when you don't understand your passion. And when I say don't understand it, you can't, your passion has control of you. You don't have control of your passion. And look, that goes for me too, because I got my vices. For those who know me, I got my vices, all right? And so that's how I view it. That's what I get from it. So I'm just saying, we got to really start looking at the principles and of your lodge, of your chapter. Just take a look at it and see if it's fitting for you. Hear what I said. Is it fitting for you? If it's not fitting for you, then you may have to move on. If it's not fitting for you, you're going to have to find a new lodge, a new chapter, where you're going to be able to get the teachings. You're going to be able to get what you want out of it. If you're not getting anything out of your lodge or out of your chapter, then that may not be for you. Okay? That may not be for you. Huh? That may not be for you. You may have to do something else with it. You say yes or no. You know, you may have to take another look at that and get that from another point of view. That's how that's going to work. And if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. Learn to subdue our passion. Absolutely learn to subdue your passion. Too many times we don't do that. Too many times we look at that and be like, yeah, right, whatever. You know, that's what we do with it. We set it aside, you know. We hadn't quite, you know, when somebody makes you upset, he made me mad. Anybody that has the ability to make you angry or to make you mad, and you have no control over that, you're not able to subdue your passion or your will. That's a fact. And that's what I learned from my old heads. You know, they used to crack me up. My old heads, man, they had me rolling. Hawkins, why are you getting upset? Ah, Hawkins, why are you allowing someone else to dictate to you your emotions? You control this. So why are you allowing someone else to dictate your emotions? I had to learn that, man. That didn't happen overnight. I had to grow into that, man. And I'm still growing. I'm still growing, you know. So as we climb that ladder in masonry and get these positions in the various departments, we're gonna have to learn that we're gonna have to treat everybody fairly. Even if I don't like you, I gotta treat you fairly. That's the principles. Okay? That's the principles. Hey, I'm sorry. I gotta roll the windows up. So even if that's so, I still have to treat you fairly. You know, I can agree to disagree with you, but I have to treat you fairly. I have to look at it. Because the bylaws in the Constitution, in the principles of masonry, tells me I should treat you fairly. Now, if you don't like it, don't become a member, because we say everybody's on the level. That's what we say. We're on the level, brother. You know, we need to act this way and we need to do this way. So everybody is equal, right? I may make $100,000 a year and this person making $25,000. When we get into the lodge meeting, it's what? We squared away, right? Everybody's right there, correct? And if that is so, and you have these various situations in your lodge and chapter, that's where you need to be. Greetings. Lee Hall, what's going on with you, brother? It's good to have you back. George B, what's happening with you? Somebody said Phoenix, Onyx. I'm not gonna even try to do that. But brother Phoenix, what's going on with you? It's good to have you here. I'm just going back. Marquise, what's going on with you? I see, okay. Greetings from Germany. What's going on in Germany? That's brother Phoenix out of Germany. What's up, Express? What's going on with you? I hope TB, what's happening with you? Mikey, what's going on? I'm just sending shout outs to everybody. Frazier, what's happening? Sylvester, what's going on with you? So I'm just saying, JC, JC is back up in here. First question on the application is, what is your occupation? Absolutely. You know, that is true. You know, or in some cases, that is on some applications. I've seen some applications it's on there, but it's not the first question. But JC, I appreciate that. Absolutely. You know, but it's the principle. Stop being a leech. A real Mason can handle their own. Look, nobody gets anywhere in this life without the help of somebody else. That doesn't make them a leech. I'm going to say this again. Nobody gets anywhere in this life without the help of somebody else. You tell me, name me one person, JC, in this life, and maybe I misunderstood your question. Name me one person in this life that has ever gotten any place by themselves. I'll wait. I got about another 10 or 15 minutes. Tell me one person. Everybody who's gotten any place in this world has had the help of somebody else. Be it good, bad, or a bit indifferent. If you're a gangster and you're trying to move your product, somebody's helped you move that product. Plain and simple. You're the guy on the corner who's running that block, somebody's helped you to take control of that block. You didn't get that block by yourself. Okay? If you are working in whatever field you're working, you filled your application out, the person who looked at it said, yeah, that person right there is good for this job. You see, he hired you. You didn't hire yourself. He hired you. Even when you got ready to open your own business and somebody wanted to give you a business loan, they looked at your application and said, yeah, you know what? Let's give him the opportunity to flourish in his business. So they gave you the business loan. Somebody has helped you along the way in life. I don't ever want to hear anybody tell me they got somewhere else by themselves. Oh, your dad and your mama got a little money, huh? They left that to you. You didn't earn that. They left that money to you. Oh, well, I went to school and I didn't. No. Somebody looked at your application and said, okay, you know what? That's a good candidate for this school. You applied, you got in, and a teacher there or administrator, somebody helped you. Have you ever been in college and needed some food to eat? I got you, George. I see you. Have you ever been in college and was hungry? You didn't pledge. You weren't in no Greek fraternity. Okay? You were none of that, but you had some friends, you made some friends, and they had the refrigerator in their room, but you didn't have one in yours, and they helped you. Oh, come on now. I know some of y'all been to the university, some of y'all been to college. You know what it's like to run out of food. Your stipend didn't come. You know, you get that stipend check because you do, you do your little thing. You didn't get the money. See, when I went to college, you had the stipend and all of that stuff. So it don't come to the end of the month. You know, your Pell Grant, you get the Pell Grant. So nobody gets anywhere in this world, in this life, without the help of somebody else. Plain and simple. I've never seen it. And I've been around for a little while. You know, and that's a fact. College broke, hit different. Oh, man, yeah. College broke hits differently. This is a true story. After I pledged, right? I pledged in 1985. So after I pledged my Greek fraternity, Beta Psi Phi to the day I die, big, deep blue. All right. So after I pledged, right? And there were some brothers because they had a Masonic lodge on the campus too. Go figure that one out now. They had a Masonic lodge on the campus too. So after we pledged, that was the same night they did a raising. So the Greeks and the Masons met. And I remember this brother said, yeah, I'm a Mason now. I was like, oh, you joined the Masons? All of us was like 18, 19. I'm like, damn. If I'd have known that, I'd have put in an application. I probably couldn't afford it then. I was college broke. But I'm quite sure that the brothers of that lodge, okay, assisted that young man in his journey. I'm quite sure of that. And then I found out later, some of my fraternal brothers, oh yeah, they had went through the same process. They became Masons too. A lot of them did. You know, some came Prince Hall, some was international, some ancient free. Oh yeah, I know a couple right now. He's high ranking in international. He's high ranking. I've reached out to him, Brother Teller, Debo. You know, I've reached out to him, not the Debo Teller that passed a couple of years ago, not him. There was his name was Uno. I'm sorry, Uno. We called him Uno. You know, yeah, he pledged and went on and he's back in Chicago. I think it's Chicago. I think it's Chicago. Yeah, he went on and did his thing. So yeah, for real though. Those were the days. Stipends, yeah, the stipends, man. I'm for real though. So when somebody tells me that, nah, ain't nothing like being college broke. That's a different broke. That broke make you eat them pork and beans and Vienna sausage with the crackers, and you have the Kool-Aid broke. You know, that broke, man, once you eat, you good. You good. And if you got some sorrows, I went from Freemasonry, I'm talking about the Greeks now. If you got some sorrows, them sisters, oh man, the sisters on the college campus, they got the food. I'm telling you. If you are a Greek on the college campus and you got some sisters, man, you ain't worried about eating. And then not only that, if you have a teacher on the college campus and you're a pretty good student, and I'm talking about a female teacher, she'll cook for you. Some of those teachers on the college campus, they see the students being, man, you good? I had a teacher. She worked in the library. Her name was Miss Pauline Ewing. Big shout out to Miss Pauline Ewing. West Point. And she, she took me in like her son. Let me tell you, man, she took me in like her son. Cooking and food. I met her sister, her mother. I met the whole family. Oh, I was my sophomore year my sophomore year I had made friends. And I didn't go for now. I wasn't college broke like that. I ain't had no money, but food wise, I was good. I was good. I was good. Shout out to Sigma Tau Upsilon. Big shout out to you. But yeah, oldies, oodles and noodles. You better believe it, oodles and noodles. You know what I'm talking about, George? Absolutely. But back to the subject at hand, So as we journey through this thing we call Freemasonry, the Order of the Eastern Star, brothers of the craft, sisters of the order, the principles are everything to me. Now, it may not be to you, but it's to me the principles. When I meet a brother or a sister and they're true to who they claim to be, and they carry themselves in such a way to show that, hey, oh yeah, we good. Oh, we good. We good. Some of you have never been into foreign places and you found yourself where you didn't really know anybody. Have you ever been to a place that you knew nobody? And because maybe you had the Masonic emblem on your lapel, or maybe because you had the ring on, you met plenty of other people? I've been places like that. I've gone to conferences. I was in Pennsylvania a few years back at a labor union conference by myself representing my union. Didn't know nobody, but I had my jacket and, I had my jacket on and I was standing in the lobby in Philly. Man, at the hotel in Philly, I was standing in the lobby. Had the jacket on. Brothers from all, what? Oh, you, what? Yeah, man, that's what it's all about. Them brothers didn't come up to me asking me what affiliation I was in. Although on the back of my jacket, big as daylight, it said ancient, free, and accepted. It had it on there. But that didn't matter to them. They was like, brother, where you from? California. Oh, what lodge? Hosea Lodge number 7. Oh, okay. I hail from this lodge. I hail from that lodge. When we made that relationship, that bond that I made with them, man, it's still there today. It's still there today. We went and had lunch. We broke bread. We ate. We fellowshiped. We talked about it. We was there for a whole week at the conference. I knew nobody. That's the joy. That's the joy I get out of being a Mason. You walk into a place you knew nobody. When you leave, at least you know 15, 20 people. And being a part of the Freemasons in the Order of the Eastern Star draws you to closer because you understand the tenets and the principles. And that's the difference. A lot of people will never get the principles and they'll never understand the tenets because that's something they don't practice. They're book Masons. They wannabes. They talk about it. It can come all out of their mouth, but it ain't in their heart. So they don't get it. They don't gravitate to it. Nah. There are so many individuals that I've come across in this 35 years or so that, man, some I like, some I don't like. It's plain and simple. Some brothers I've come across I never want to see or speak to again. Nah, we good. Nope. Will I ever assist or aid them? If it's true, if it's something true, yeah. I just don't mess with them no more. And it's okay. It's all right. I don't talk bad about them. I don't call them out of their name. We just don't have that relationship. And it's okay. It's really okay. So I think that the integrity and principles that a person have when they are a Mason or when they are a member of the Order of the Eastern Star is so much more important than somebody who can spit the book out to you. It is so much important. You could talk about all the history. You could talk about all the lineage. You could talk about all of that. But if you don't have the principles, of the tenets of in the integrity, is I can't deal with you. I can't. I can't speak for nobody else. I can't deal with you if you don't have respect for the organization as far as its tenets, its principles. I can't in the integrity. I can't do it. You know, I'm saying this, and I understand it. Sometimes we fall into various diverse places. Sometimes it happens in life. You know, maybe my integrity is not where your integrity is at right now, but it's something I'm working on. Maybe my principles are not where yours is at right now, but because you're the example, I'm working on that. Maybe I don't quite understand the tenets of Freemasonry in the Order of the Eastern Star, and I'm working on really getting that down right now. I'm all in. I'm all in to cheer you on. I'm all in to help you get to where you want to be. I don't give a rat's behind what jurisdiction you in. But if that's the goal for you to be the best at it and to uphold those principles and tenets, I'm all in for it. Absolutely, I'm all in for it. And I believe that each one of us are really like that. I don't care. I've come across some awesome brothers who are a member of mainstream Grand Lodges. Awesome. I mean, really. I've come across some Modern Free International, some Prince Hall, PHA, PHO. I've come across some awesome brothers across the spectrum. Yeah, and that's what Masonry supposed to be. And I've come across some brothers who are awful. I've come across some sisters who are terrible. But that doesn't mean that they represent Masonry or the order. It doesn't mean they're not the totality of the thing. They're not all there is to see. Yeah, they may be an asshole, but they're not all there is to see and to do and to become part of. Nah. You know, I believe that when you come across an individual who's a Mason or an Eastern Star, and they are legitimately who they are in the principles and tenets of a thing, it's great. It's even better. It's even better if when you talk to them in the Masonic language, in the Eastern Star language, you can have that honest dialogue of the Q&A. That's even better. But the love, the love of the tenets and the principles and the integrity is even greater. You follow me? That's even greater. And I find that in quite a few brothers. You know, I know brothers who don't like the other brothers, but I have no crumbs with either one of them. To me, you know. So, but I try to treat each one of them with the same respect that I would want in return. And I try to maintain that same relationship. That's what I want. That's what I want for him. That's what I want for her. So if a sister called me up and she's really legitimately in a need of a thing and I can help, I'm all in. The same thing for a brother. But that's the principles and tenets of a thing, you know? And I believe that once we begin to really practice the tenets, the integrity, and the principles of Freemasonry, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. What's going on, John? How you doing? DJ Craig. What's happening, brother DJ? Craig from out of New Orleans. What's going on with you, brother? It is my hope that you and the family are well, that you're healing. That's my prayer for you. That's my prayer for your family. You know you've been going through a rough spell, but I'm letting you know that, hey, man, I'm here. I'm here. That's big shout out to Valley of the Kings 360. Big shout out to you, your wishful master, and the officers and members of that lodge out there in New Orleans. I can't think of the name right now. I don't want to mess it up. I call it the NO, but I just want to let you know that when I was there, that I appreciated everything that you did for me. You know, I appreciate that. Appalooshas. Yeah, baby. When I was in Appalooshas, let me tell you, and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get ready to go. I'm gonna get ready to go. But when I was in Appalooshas, let me tell you, I drove. I was doing this. I like to drive a lot, so I was in Atlanta. I was in Mississippi. I drove down to Appalooshas, and let me tell you, I had never met Brother Craig a day in my life. I met him through this medium right here. I met him on this channel right here. I met Brother Craig, and we talked it up. We exchanged numbers. We talked it up. Brother Craig told me this. He said, look, if you're coming through New Orleans and you can get to Appalooshas, I got you. That's what he told me. He said, I got you, Brother Tony. He said, I got you. I was like, I ain't never met this man in my life. I don't know him. He don't know me. I said, okay, you know what? I'm coming to Appalooshas. That brother hooked me up. That brother opened his house up to me, gave me a place to lay my head. I didn't have to get no hotel. That brother in his lodge cooked food. We was in the backyard. He invited some other brothers from another lodge over. Man, we had one of the best times that you can have as brothers of the craft. I had an excellent time, man. I got there, brother, parked my truck. I rented a truck, parked the truck, man. Man, I ain't gonna ever forget how that brother he put out for me, okay? He put out for me. And I never met him before until that day. Had a conversation with his wife, and he told me what his wife said about me. Man, when a man's wife tell you something about the other guy, it's a wrap. Hey, tell your wife I said hello to Brother Craig. You know, brotherly love, relief, and truth. For sure. Brother Craig, I mean, hey, bruh, you talking about eating some good Southern, Cajun, you name it. Man, brother, we was in the backyard. I'm hearing cricket sounds I ain't heard in 30 years. I'm hearing all sorts of sounds. But I loved it. I had a ball. And that's my experience. You know, overall the BS I've seen, my experience and my love and my joy for the craft and the brothers I've come across is worth it all. I mean, it is worth it all because I've seen some stuff. I'm quitting, you know, but because of these brothers that I've come across and because of the love that they have had for me, the joy that I've had fellowshipping with them, was beautiful. It's totally beautiful. And I can say that about quite a few different brothers I've come across who have pulled me into their home. There's another brother, his name is Morpheus, out of Lithonia, there in Georgia. When I got to Georgia, brother Morpheus said, you don't need no hotel. No, come on to my house. I ain't never met this man a day in my life. Come on to my house. What? So I drive to Lithonia, get to his home, meets his wife, meets his kids. He said, I got you, bro. Man, this brother had a room set up in his house, right? His room that he had set up was it was a mystic room. And that was really for his wife. And I got to talking to his wife. I got a personal reading. His wife did a personal reading for me. That's what she does. And she told me some things about myself. And she told me some things I need to do. Some things I needed to stop doing. She did. She read me. This sister read me. She read me. I'm telling you. And she blessed me at the same time. She read me. She blessed me and did her thing, you know. And I was grateful and thankful. So to Brother Morpheus out of Lithonia, Georgia, bruh, thank you for welcoming me and my grandmaster when we got there, man. Had a place to lay our heads. We didn't have to get no hotel. Boom. You know, that's what I'm talking about. If you have ever experienced those types of relationships and journeys in this thing, that's the beauty of it all. That's the beauty, man. I mean, That's what I like. That's what I enjoy. Oh yeah, what's going on with you? If I'm missing anybody that didn't give you a shout out, charge it to my head, not my heart. But I just want to come on today. I hadn't did a live for a long time. I mean, like an hour. This is a whole hour. I hadn't done one in a long time. So today, if you're just joining us, today we're talking about the principles and the tenets and the integrity. We're talking about that side of Freemasonry in the Order of the Eastern Star. That's what we're talking about today. And if you've gotten some out of this particular message, please share it. Share it with someone. Have them to subscribe to the channel. And we can move forward. I really appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up button. Hit the like button. And for those of you who have made contributions, and let me say this real quick. For the ones who have joined John G. Jones Research Lodge, I want to say thank you. I got to get your membership cards and your certificates out to you. I want to say yes. Thank you for all the work that you do in the background, calling, giving me some pointers, all of that. For those of you who are a member of John G. Jones Research Lodge 147, you know who you are. I don't have to call your name. You know. And I'm going to say this here. I'm going to say this. Be it whether you're part of International, Modern and Free, PHO, or PHA, you know exactly who you are. You are part of this particular setting, John G. Jones Research Lodge. Like I said, I apologize that I hadn't gotten your certificate and membership card out, but I'll make sure I get it out to you. And I want to say thank you for your participation in this journey. I really want to send that shout out to you. That's the beauty of it all. That's what I really have gotten to like about this channel and what we have done. We have really bridged the gap in what masonry should look like and what it should be. And I can say that from the relationships that I've made with brothers from various jurisdictions and who have supported me in this work. I want to say thank you. I really appreciate it. And if I could be of any assistance to you, that's a great thing. I'm there for it, And for those of you who know, you know. And for those of you who don't, you don't. So I'm going to leave it right there. But look, I've been on here for 113, and that's the longest I've been on in a minute. I appreciate everyone. Brother Lee Hall, thank you. I appreciate you. You've been inspirational to me, and I'm glad to know you. Brother Lee Hall is a member of PHO. I forgot what Brother Lee Hall is from, but he's a member of PHO under the leadership of Brother Lewis. And I want to say thank you. You've always been there for me, brother. I appreciate you. So look, I'm out of here, man. As always, I hope that you've gotten something out of this. Continue the journey, and whatever you do, you stay out them bushes and you keep that light on. Peace and be well. I'm out.